Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and it is November 1st. Now this video is going to post on Monday, but all intents and purposes, you can say this is past John because I'll be posting in the future. So there you go. Anyway, it is November 1st, the day after Halloween. I hope everybody had a great Halloween. I can't say that I had a great Halloween because I had to work for most of it, okay? And B, my wife and my sister-in-law, or her sister, however you want to put it, they gave out candy for a while, but she said we only had 3 groups of kids come to the house for candy, okay? So yeah, it was a pretty crappy Halloween in that respect. We did get to put up some decorations. We put we got a black wrought iron fence that goes around our yard. I mean, it already looks spooky enough. I mean, but we put up some like orange lights around it, and then we put like a hay bale with a skeleton sitting on it. And also we've got this really funky looking skeleton. It used to be like an animated skeleton. It has a little 3-piece suit on and stuff. And my sister-in-law hung that from a tree, so it's just right there when you look out the door. So if you're not expecting it, you're thinking, oh my God, there's a person out there hanging or something. Or you just think there's a person out there, all right? So yeah, that was Halloween. Another thing, please excuse the mess. I am in the process, I don't know if you can see my DVD and Blu-ray shelf over here, but you can see it's kind of askew. The DVDs and videos are kind of askew. And then I got a bunch of them here on the floor. Those are all DVDs. What I'm doing is I'm in the process of separating my horror from my regular or whatever, non-horror Blu-rays and DVDs. So I'm doing, the way I'm going to do it is my horror Blu-rays and then my non-horror Blu-rays, and then I'm going to do horror DVDs and then non-horror DVDs. And the reason being is because I got tired of like having a DVD beside a Blu-ray beside a DVD, and so on. So it looked like a bunch of jagged teeth, all right? I mean, it literally looked like a troll opened his mouth, or a shark with bad teeth opened his mouth. It's like, jagged, little tooth, short, little tooth, tall tooth, and all that stuff. Yeah, so please excuse the mess. Anyway, what are we here for? We are here for my October reading wrap-up. Okay, so this time out, I did not read as many books as I had hoped to read. I had hoped also that the last book that I would be reading would be for October, would finish for October, would be Her Infernal Name by Robert Atone. And it's a series of short stories. I'm not finished with it. That's why I'm not showing it. I will show that on my November wrap-up because I'm going to finish it in November. Okay, so there we go. All right, that being said, I did DNF one book. Do I have it with me? I don't. It's over there, and I don't feel like going over there. Anyway, I DNF'd The Monster of Elendhaven. I just could not get into that book. I mean, I know a lot of people enjoyed the book. I can't remember who it was talking about it on their channel one day or something or another, but I just could not get into the book. I may give it another chance later on, but at this particular point in time, it was not the book for me. That being said, let's go ahead and get underway with the reading wrap-up. So, I've got books on Kindle, and I've got paperbacks also. I don't think I have any hardbacks. I do not. So that being said, first off, I read Buried with the Night. And these are stories by Sion Das. If you remember, Sion is the guy that I did the top 10 underrated horror films video with. Super nice guy, super excellent writer. These stories are fun, they're grotesque, they're horror. That's it. They are horror, all right? I give this 5 stars. It took me a while to buy this book and to read this book. I don't know what the hell I was waiting on, okay? Excellent series of short stories. If you have not read this book, by all means, pick it up. Buried with the Night. All right, Sion Das. Okay, next up, number 2. This was a ebook. And this was part of the Halloween Creature Feature Reading Extravaganza, sponsored by myself and Jason White at Jason's Weird Reads. This was Only a woman can break his spell. Read a horror book featuring a vampire vampire novel written by a female author. I read The Woman in Crimson by Catherine Meyer Griffith. This is about a family, or a couple, excuse me, that are running a bed and breakfast, and the bed and breakfast becomes terrorized by the ghost of the vampire that lived there before them. And she is coming back into power. All right? I don't want to say too much. It's actually a pretty good little book. I gave it 4 stars. So there you go. All right, next up. Oh, I was so happy to read this one. I got a copy of this. Regina St. Clair from Regina's Haunted Library sent me this. I am so appreciative of this. She sent me a copy of Local Haunts, a horror tube anthology. This was absolutely excellent from start to finish. I give it 4 stars. Had some great stories in it by people like Marie McWilliams from, Marie McWilliams. Regina had one from herself, Regina's Haunted Library. She had a story. Dane Cobain from Dane's Reads had one. Spooky Noodles, Nick himself, Nicholas Gray himself had one. Just a lot of great stories in this book. And the reason they're called Local Haunts is because depending on where the person is from, they're writing a story basically about that area. All right, so Marie wrote something about Ireland, or that takes place in Ireland. Dane lives in England, I believe it is, so he wrote something that takes place in England. Jason is from Canada, so Jason White, Jason's Weird Reads. He also did the foreword to this too, so yeah, there you go. All right, yeah, 4 stars, Local Haunts. If you have not picked this book up yet, pick it up, okay? Come on. All proceeds go to charity. It goes to First Book, and this is an organization to help buy the supplies that teachers and teachers' aides or whatever need to get kids to learn, and to give them all the tools they need to help these kids to learn, okay? So yeah. All right. All right, number 4, I read Long Lankin by Lindsay Barraclaw. Or Barraclaw. I may be pronouncing it wrong, okay? It's just like somebody said, Gloria McNeely said the other day that it really drives Irish people nuts whenever people pronounce Samhain, which is spelled Samhain, as Samhain. That's not how you pronounce it, okay? So yeah, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing their last name. That's just what I'm saying. But anyway, this is about a creature that it feeds on children, especially young children. And it's about these 2 sisters and 2 of their friends that have to figure out a way to get rid of this thing, to fight it, to destroy it. All right. I give this 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. It's a young adult book, but it didn't read like a young adult book. Okay. I mean, there's not a lot of swearing in it or anything like that, but do you need swearing in a book in the first place? I mean, what the hell? Seriously, come on. Next up. Now, this one was a recommendation by Sion Das. In fact, he sent me this copy of North American Lake Monsters by Nathan Ballingerud. He swore by this book, loved this book, and I did too. It's a very slow-paced. The stories in this are kind of slow-paced. They're very, I don't want to say they're literary, but they do seem to be a step above some of the other writings, some other writings of different authors. I know I'm not saying that right, but this is a collection of short stories. And what I loved about it was like some of the stories, like one of them I started reading and it's like, oh, this is a werewolf story. And the more I read it, the more I think, well, no, this is not a werewolf story. This is more about a guy that is angry at someone, but he doesn't really know exactly who to be angry with. The werewolf is just a part of the story. And a lot of the stories in this are like that, all right? And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a bit. I mean, maybe not as much as Sion, but that's okay. I still really enjoyed this book. Okay, all right. What do we got next? Okay, that did that. This one's on McKindle. This was the first book in the Bain County series. This is Bain County, Forgotten Moon. This is a werewolf book. This is one of the ones that I read for the Halloween Creature Feature Reading Extravaganza. Read a werewolf book with the words wolf or moon in the title. All right. This is by J.R. Rice. I gave this book 5 stars. This is one of the best werewolf novels I have read in a long time. Okay. This is about this little town, and they live on the outskirts, or they live just beyond the town is this forest, and you don't go in this forest. There is a ravenous werewolf in that forest, all right? And it appears, it's kind of like Pennywise. It appears I think it's every full moon, or every, what is the name of the moon I'm thinking about? I think it's called a true harvest moon or something like that. That's when you're in the worst danger, is because that is when it is at its strongest. There are 4 books in the series and a short story. I believe he is writing a 5th one. I don't remember, but I love that story, and I cannot wait to get to the second book, which is going to be in my November TBR, and also for the Evil-a-thon TBR, or my Evil-a-thon TBR. All right, so there's that. Okay, number 8, I've got Juniper by Ross Jeffrey. This is about it basically revolves around 3 people: a husband, a wife, and this old lady that lives on the outskirts of town. And it's about this town in the South that the best way to describe this town is it's dead. It is a dead town, and nobody has told this town that it is dead, all right? And so there's kind of a confrontation or of sorts between these 3 people. The husband is a piece of crap. He is an absolute piece of crap. The wife, has been beaten up by this man so many times, put in the hospital by this man, and he is an absolute monster. So, and there are also these gigantic house cats that the wife, raises, and she raises them not because she loves kitty cats, she does, but they are interbred and they grow to some pretty large proportions, and she sells these cats or gives these cats to people as food, okay? There is a hell of a twist at the end of this book, or in this book, that a lot of people saw it coming a little bit. Me, I did not see this coming. I enjoyed this book quite a bit. 5 stars for this, okay? And that's Juniper by Ross Jeffrey. And this is the first book of a trilogy. The second one is called Tome. I have not read that. He's going to send me a copy of the revised edition, and he wants me to wait until I get that to read it. So there you go. All right. Number 9, another ebook, and that was The Plumbers by Terry M. West. This was another one that was a part of the Halloween Creature Feature Reading Extravaganza. Read a book with a dead or undead being. This is a zombie novel. This is about 2 plumbers living or working within the confines of the zombie apocalypse. And they have basically what is a James Bondian type license to kill, okay? Now, it's not a 007, and if you're a Bond fan, 007 means license to kill, all right? But they have some other kind of thing. I can't remember the exact lettering, but it gives them, if they are attacked by somebody who is a zombie or whatever, they have the right to defend themselves to the death, to kill these creatures. And it is basically about their adventures with these zombies. And this one particular house that they go to and find themselves between a complete, absolute rock and a hard place. All right? And the proverbial shit hits the fan for these 2 plumbers. Okay? There you go. I gave it 3 stars. Okay? All right. Next up, number 10. This was sent to me by Silver Shamrock Publishing. This is by Ronald Kelly. This is the Essential Sick Stuff. And this compiles 3 short story collections: Sick Stuff, More Sick Stuff, and the Essential Sick Stuff. I love this book. I gave it 3.5 stars. Now, some of the stories were not as good as the other stories, or some of them just didn't click with me as much as I'm not saying they were bad. They just didn't click with me. But then the ones that did click were just absolutely fantastic. They are gruesome. They are gory. They are funny in places. So, yeah, I give this 3.5 stars. Now, I have already reviewed this one. So, yeah, there you go. The Essential 6 stuff. All right, what do we got next? This is from Jessica Guest. This was another ebook. This is Cirque Berserk. And this is another one for the Halloween Creature Feature Reading Extravaganza. And this is to read a book of Lovecraftian or cosmic horror by an author of color. Jessica, I believe, is African American. The thing about this one is it wasn't necessarily a book of cosmic or Lovecraftian horror. It's about these kids that are trapped inside this amusement park, and they're being stalked by this group that is, for all intents and purposes, they're dead. But by killing, I believe they have to kill like 9 people on a certain night, then they get to stay alive, so to speak. So yeah, when I read it, I thought, yeah, this isn't really a Lovecraftian or cosmic. It was still good though. I give it 3 stars. So there you go. Okay, what do we got next? We got from Jason White, Jason's Weird Reads. We have got Isolation. Give this one 4 stars. I'm really glad I read this. This was an excellent collection of short stories, all of them horror. See, one of the ones, where's the ones? Let me find it here. Let me get a few titles here that I did enjoy the most, all right? Divorce and the Black Cat is a retelling of The Black Cat, of course, by Edgar Allan Poe. Excellent story. The Witch at Midnight was another one that I really enjoyed. The title story, Isolation, that one I truly enjoyed also. That was about a woman trying to cope with the death of her husband in the war in Afghanistan. Very well-written story. All of these stories are excellently written. And if Jason comes up with something else, I hope he lets me know, because I do want to read more by him, because he's really an excellent writer. All right. Let me see here. Number 13, I read Coffin Shadows by Glenn Krish and Mark Steensland. And this is basically about a woman who is trying to find out exactly why her son, what killed her infant son. And she gets she goes back home to get some answers, but she gets more embroiled in like this conspiracy thing, and finds out that not only her mother, but a lot of other people have been lying to her and are a part of this this cult, so to speak. And I give this 3 stars because the writing is excellent. I love the characters and stuff, but it just seemed like a lot of it was stuff I had already read. It didn't really, I just didn't feel it brought anything new to the table, okay? And that it's not going to stop me from reading other books by these guys. I definitely will, because like I said, I really enjoyed their writing style, just not necessarily the plot or the storyline itself, okay? There you go. All right, what do we got next? Number 14, this is another ebook. This is by Glenn Rolfe, and this was Abram's Bridge. And the one thing that drew me to this book was, and Glenn, I wrote Glenn on Instagram and he confirmed this to me. I said, how did you get the title? How did you come up with the title Abram's Bridge? And I already knew in my head what he was going to say, and he said it's from a Bruce Springsteen song. And the song he's talking about is Darkness on the Edge of Town. There is a line in it that says, tell her there's a spot out beneath Abram's Bridge, and tell her there's a darkness on the edge of town. So I really admired that. I'm a huge Springsteen fan, okay? So is Glenn. But this is about a boy of about 12 years old who befriends the ghost of this little girl. He finds out that she has been murdered, and he goes about trying to find out who murdered this little girl so she can get an answer, and so she can get some answers and have peace. Okay, I love this story. It's a very short story, about 85 pages, I think, and I just flew right through it. Okay, I loved it. So yeah, that is a 5-star read for me. Number 15, another ebook. This was The Possession of Natalie. I don't know why I said Jody Glasgow. I believe it is Natalie Glasgow. Yes, it is Natalie Glasgow. This is by Haley Piper. And this is about a little girl that is possessed. But if you think it is a demonic possession or a ghostly possession, think again. This one takes an entirely new approach to the possession story. And for that, I just praise it. Okay, give it 4 stars. I think the reason I gave it 4 stars instead of 5 is because I don't think I wanted it to end. I wanted more, but it's just an excellent story. And like I said, I got an ebook. I think it was like $2.99 or something like that. I don't know, but awesome purchase. I love this one. So yes, The Possession of Natalie Glasgow by Haley Piper. All right. Next up. Okay. Got 2 more books here, and this next one is one of those in the Splatter Western series. This is book 4. It's by Christine Morgan, and this is The Night Silver River Run Red. I can hear somebody like these. All these titles on these, especially this one. This sounds like a movie title. You know, I mean, I can just hear the movie, the announcer that announces over the movie trailers, you know, like, who will survive the night Silver River Run Red? No, that's terrible. That was horrible. Anyway, yeah, this is about a band of marauders that invade this town, pretty much killing everybody inside in some rather gruesome, horrific ways. There's a character in here by the name of Horsecock. Okay. I'm not going to say any more, okay? And by you know, just think, when you think that C word there, just think rooster, okay? Anyway, I'm not kidding. It's not, no, that's not the reason he's called that. Anyway, but the people of the town, they kind of get some assistance or some help from a very odd source, okay? This was a 4-star read for me. I really enjoyed this one. I have enjoyed all of the books in the Splatter Western series. There's 6 right now, and I believe there's a 7th one coming out. I believe there's going to be about 10 or 11, maybe 12 of these books. And these are books that as soon as I find out that one of them is out, I'm like, click, buy it. I do. I bought every one of them. I love them, okay? Last but not least, okay, it is also by Glenn Rolfe, and this is Land of Bones. And this is a short story collection. A lot of these deal with loss and grief. Not all of them. My favorite story, I believe, would have to be The Rooster. And this is a fictionalized account of Glenn and the loss of his brother to cancer. Really sad story, but really sweet story, and really sad, sweet story. He has a quote from Bruce Springsteen that is just perfect for this, because this character in the story, in The Rooster, loved his brother, just thought he could do no wrong. And he quotes a song by Springsteen called Terry's Song, and it says, "When they built you, brother, they broke the mold." All right. So yeah, Land of Bones. I give this 4 stars. All the stories in this are excellent. I'll give it 4 stars. All right. So that is it for my November reading wrap up. I have gone on long enough. I have talked enough. The weekend is over, unfortunately. Monday is approaching. All right. So those of you who are essential workers, please stay safe out there, and thank you. All right. I guess I am an essential worker because I do have a job. Security guard. There you go. So yes. And I, of course, do practice safe work. All right. Anyway, no, I'm not going to say that. Anyway, that's it. You guys have a great evening, and it's going to post on Monday. So this is Past John saying good night.